The biggest development coming out of that news conference that happened earlier today, that warrants have been issued for Corrections Officer Vicky White for helping accused murderer Casey White escape here at the Lauderdale County Jail early Friday morning. Again, here's a look at those two who are missing right now, that massive manhunt across the country looking for both Casey and Vicky White this afternoon. If you see them, remember Sheriff Singleton said do not approach them. They should be considered armed and dangerous. Casey White especially considered extremely dangerous. Do not approach them. Call 911 immediately. I want to go ahead and bring in Lauderdale County Sheriff Rick Singleton now, who's taken a few minutes to talk to us. Sheriff Singleton, thank you for joining us. Yeah. Let's talk about the toll. We're over 72 hours into this search since they've disappeared. What kind of toll is this taking on your officers?
Well, it's very draining, especially for our corrections deputies. Vicky was part of their family, and they've taken this very hard. Matter of fact, as we speak, there are counselors in the detention center working with the employees to provide services to them. The director told me Friday night when all this first went down that it was like a funeral wake. Everyone's just in total shock and disbelief. So it's obviously taken a mental toll on them. At the same time, they have to go in there and do their jobs every minute. So that's one of the pressures and one of the stresses of this kind of work. You know, just because something happens, you can't lock the door and say, let's all take a few minutes or a little time and recover from this. So the work goes on. So that makes it even more difficult.
We talk about if you see something, say something to members of the community all the time when it comes to law enforcement, and if you see crime happening in your area. What about policy here at the jail, the culture here? You know, she was the one that coordinated these transports. Nobody questioned it. What does that say about the culture and maybe the need to change to encourage people to speak up if they feel something's not right?
Well, I think that culture exists in any business or industry, you know, especially when you got a subordinate and a superior. You know, we need to learn that we've got to have the courage to stand up and speak up. You know, one of the things that I always hate to hear as an administrator is when something happens and then some employee comes to me and says, well, everybody knew it. Well, if everybody knew it, why didn't somebody say something about it? You know, that's just a problem I think we all have when you've got any work environment. And a policy, you know, to change that, you know, a policy is a piece of paper. You know, it's really to give the employee guidance and direction. It's to give the administration something to work from if there is a violation, but it's always after the fact. So, you know, if the policy would prevent things like this, then we wouldn't have any crime because we got all kinds of laws that should prevent criminal activity. So, you know, you got your policies, but if someone elects or chooses to violate that policy, there's nothing to prevent that, really. And as administrators, you're left to deal with it after the fact.
Let's talk about the toll on the patrol side and all the resources that you're tapping into. Your officers have been on the scene really working around the clock trying to locate Vicky and Casey.
They have, and of course we've had all of our state and federal partners in here. We've been basically working around the clock, as you said. We've put in a lot of man hours, a lot of miles, trying to follow up on leads, and you know, it wears you down. Personally, I mean, I've had like 16 hours sleep since Friday morning, so sometimes I feel like I'm walking around like a zombie. But you know, it takes a physical toll, it takes a mental toll, and you know, it's very draining work.
What do you want them to know out there? If they happen to see this, obviously they know that they're being searched for. If they happen to see this out there on any outlet, what do you want Casey and Vicky to know?
Well, what I want Vicky to know is you need to come back and get this straightened out. You know, you have really disappointed all your friends and coworkers. You made a bad choice. People make bad choices all the time. This building's full of people who've made bad choices. But you know, we're still here for you. We'll just deal with the circumstances the way we have to deal with them. And for Casey White, you know, we're going to get you. You know, we always do. You know, so you know, the best thing he can do is turn himself in too, and get this over with.
All right, Sheriff Rick Singleton, Lauderdale County Sheriff's Office. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. All right.